Hello and welcome back to the Wisconsin Gravel Cyclist. This is your host Logan. Today we're going over the drivetrain changes that I did for this year. So this is my race bike. It is a 2024 Trek Checkpoint Gen 2 frame. And I went from Shimano GRX 11 speed 2x11. And I went to 1x SRAM, a mullet 1x SRAM build. Now, a lot of bikes these days seem to be going electronic from the get-go. There's less and less bikes and bike companies that even offer a mechanical shifting option. So, my first thoughts about electronic shifting. First of all, when you're going from Shimano to SRAM or Shimano to SRAM or SRAM to Shimano, either way, it's just different. There's different shifting technologies, different shifting methods for each of the two different brands. Especially when it comes to like the SRAM Access ETAP. For a 1x system, the most general way, the way that you see it happen the most is your left shifter makes it go to an easier gear and your right shifter makes it go into a harder gear. And for SRAM 2x, pushing both of the paddles at the same time makes the front derailleur shift if you have one. So the first and biggest thing that I notice with electronic shifting is when you shift, the drivetrain shifts. You don't get a lot of this skipping and jolting of the chains and cassette that you can have with a mechanical drivetrain. You set it once and it's good to go. And what I mean by that is with a mechanical drivetrain, it uses cables to shift. Over time, those cables tend to stretch and change shape based off of how much you've been shifting and how much you've been riding your bike. For me, I found that every 200-300 miles, my bike needed to have an adjustment when it came to the mechanical shifting when I had the Shimano GRX. So on this bike, it is a SRAM Mullet X01 build with SRAM Force levers at the front, and this bike has about 1,000 miles on this drivetrain to date. What have I done to it? A whole lot of nothing. I've washed the bike a few times, make sure keep it clean, and wax the chain. I like a waxed chain, and that's all that I do. Chain wear, zero chain wear so far, over about 1,000 miles, and I have had one missed shift. I will admit I have had one missed shift with this drivetrain. Why? I think it was just maybe it got a little bit dirty and dusty and it just struggled in that moment. I don't know if that was the case or not, but that's what probably was the case. It was a really hot, dry day with a lot of dust that was on the rear cassette at that time. Since I have had no other issues. Now, the one thing that other people like to ask is how is 1x versus 2x? For me at this point in time, it's honestly a no-brainer to have a 1x drivetrain for gravel. I have had it in the past with a 2x Shimano drivetrain for gravel, GRX, where the front derailleur would not shift. And I don't know if it was covered in mud and grime or all that kind of stuff, but I have had an issue in the past where the front derailleur was stuck in the small chainring. And when you're in the middle of a race, that isn't fun. Well, Logan, what about gear range? Well, with this specific setup, a 46 tooth chainring in the front and a 10 to 52 in the rear, This is the exact same as the Shimano GRX 2x system with a 4630 chainring in the front and 11 to 34 11-speed rear cassette in Shimano GRX. So I have the exact same gear range, and I actually have a taller, bigger gear that I can keep faster speed going down hills. So that being said, really there's nothing wrong with a finely tuned mechanical group set. I've had good luck with it. I've ran mechanical group sets a majority of my cycling career, and it was just time to give something else a try. Now, the one thing I will say is that I much prefer Shimano hydraulic brakes over SRAM hydraulic brakes. This is the older version of SRAM Force levers at this point. There is a new version out that supposedly greatly improves that. Maybe we'll get our hands on a set of those levers at some point to test out that theory. But overall, I would say the switch to electronic shifting has been great. I've really enjoyed it. It's been easy to maintain. The batteries last a really, really long time. I have not had a battery die, and I have, one of the batteries, I have it marked, all my batteries 1, 2, 3, and the battery number 1 I have not charged yet, and I probably have 500 miles on it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's times where you're not shifting a whole lot, but I have a ton of miles on that battery. So that's a quick overview of electronic shifting with my race bike here, my Trek Checkpoint. Overall, I highly recommend giving the SRAM 1x system a try if you're wanting to jump into that electronic market. Obviously this is a little bit more expensive of a setup, but if you want to, you can find some really good deals on SRAM rival levers or even Apex levers with a GX derailleur and cassette, and you can make it fairly affordable to get an electronic group set onto your bike. So if there's any questions or comments, put them in the comment section below, and we'll do what we can to give them an answer. So I want to thank everyone for taking their time out of their day to watch this video, and we'll go for a ride here in 2025.